Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind. Well, I guess the question is now, who's even left? Who's left defending the side supposedly saving democracy by removing Donald Trump from the ballot? It seems as though not many, as more and more top Democrats come out publicly on the record essentially defending Donald Trump against this awful, undemocratic abuse of power. Gavin Newsom's the next Democrat on that list. Let's continue talking about this. We got some stuff to get into. But before we get into any of it, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's play that clip. This video is brought to you guys by our great friends at American Hartford Gold. Folks, we're living through the age of fiat currency, but pretty soon we're going to completely transition away from paper money into a full digital dollar world, the central bank digital currency. In other words, the Fed is going to have total administrative control on every dollar in the economy and everybody's bank account. As we inevitably march into that system, there's only one way to protect yourself, or at least hedge a little, and that's by owning precious metals, gold and silver. That's where American Hartford Gold comes in, the highest rated gold company in the US, with thousands upon thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. With one phone call, they could deliver physical gold and silver straight to your doorstep or directly into your IRA or 401k. And best of all, on top of how easy it is, American Hartford Gold is currently running a promotion where you could get up to $5,000 of free silver on qualifying orders. One phone call or text message away. All you gotta do is call 844-440-1005 or text Hivemind, one word, to 65532. That's Hivemind, one word, to 65532. A huge thank you to American Hartford Gold. Now back to the video. Alright friends, so here's the headline. California Governor Gavin Newsom rejects plan to block Trump from 2024 California ballot. All we really have is a quote here. Quote, "There is no doubt that Donald Trump is a threat to our liberties and even to our democracy. But in California, we defeat candidates at the polls. Everything else is a political distraction," Newsom said on Friday. Now, I find this statement a little bit interesting. I know Gavin Newsom thinks he's a real slick guy, but what he said makes absolutely no sense. He claims Donald Trump is a threat to our liberties and our democracy, but we can't throw him off the ballot. We have to beat him at the polls because everything else is a political distraction. If Donald Trump was actually a threat to democracy and our liberties, then you would think that maybe there would be an argument to actually stopping Donald Trump, even by undemocratic means, but the reality is that's just a political distraction, so you'd rather not go there. It's obviously the wiser choice to not pursue this ridiculous Colorado court-sanctioned defiling of democracy. They're all hitting the panic button. You know, I know Gavin Newsom is attempting to sell this holier-than-thou image, that us here in California, we defeat candidates at the polls. What a brave stance in 80% plus Democrat California. But the real message that this clown is sending to Democrats across the nation is, please rethink this strategy. It's going to backfire, which of course it already is. I was listening to the Minnesota Democrat Secretary of State discussing this issue on MSNBC earlier today. He raised, I think, an interesting point.
I have to say, you know, it is unprecedented. Another way to say that is it is administratively crazy. I really sympathize and empathize with my colleague Jenna Griswold in Colorado, because she, and maybe more importantly her voters, are sort of up in the air now about what's really going to happen here. Is a major presidential party candidate going to be on the ballot or not? And that's just now in the primary season. There's that extra angst and anxiety trying to figure out just logistically, just administratively, how this is going to work if and when this spills over into a general election. So yes, from the standpoint of just election administration, you always want clarity. You always want to know well in advance who the candidates are. You want to be able to do things as simple as print ballots and know who's going to be on those ballots. So yes, administratively, it's a headache, to put it mildly.
Take this kind of case, a Colorado case, or maybe another case could pop up along the same lines.
I think they're going to have to. I've said all along, since this issue was brewing, that we're never going to have a situation in this country where one or some cluster of states decides that Donald Trump is not on the ballot and everyone else decides he is. He will either be on the ballot everywhere or nowhere, and the U.S. Supreme Court is going to make sure of that. So they will take the case. There's no question in my mind.
Another Democrat who seems to be sounding the alarm, hopefully raising flags nationally not to pursue this ridiculous endeavor. There's never going to be a situation where Trump is on the ballot in one state and off the ballot in another. If that was allowed to stand, if the Supreme Court simply said, well, it's back to the states, just make the decision as you want, well then what do you think would happen? Obviously, Republican states would start removing Joe Biden. In fact, they're already floating the idea.
We're fed up. In fact, seeing what happened in Colorado tonight, Laura, it makes me think, except we believe in democracy in Texas, maybe we should take Joe Biden off the ballot in Texas for allowing 8 million people to cross the border since he's been president, disrupting our state far more than anything anyone else has done in recent history.
And he's not exactly wrong in his suggestion. If Donald Trump can be removed from the ballot without due process, then the same standard could be applied for Joe Biden. Might as well do it for every single candidate at this point. Every candidate's been removed from the ballot. Elections canceled. See you in 2028. You know, obviously it makes absolutely no sense. We've already seen federal judges in other states reject legal arguments for removing Donald Trump from the ballot. In fact, it just happened again as a federal judge refuses to boot Trump off 2024 ballot in key state. U.S. District Judge Irene Berger, an Obama appointee, dismissed a lawsuit aimed at keeping Trump off the ballot in West Virginia. The suit was brought by John Anthony Castro, a Texas attorney and obscure GOP presidential contender, one of dozens that he has filed thus far unsuccessfully against Donald Trump. These legal challenges keep getting smacked down across the courts, but Democrats seriously believe that one little group of crackpot little Democrat Supreme Court justices in the state of Colorado is somehow going to lead to a big victory at the Supreme Court, as if the conservative-leaning court is going to side with this obvious Democrat election interference scheme. Give me a break. Not going to happen. In fact, it seems as though Trump's legal team hasn't even experienced as much as a drip of sweat. Trump's lawyer Haba says 100% sure SCOTUS will overturn Colorado ballot ruling. That seems to be the trend here. I've covered at least 4 or 5 of these articles. Here's another one. SCOTUS will overturn Colorado Trump's ballot ruling, former U.S. attorney says. One after another, even left-wing analysts at CNN like Ellie Honig and top U.S. attorneys keep coming out singing the exact same tune, that this Colorado ruling will not stand. The whole thing is obviously viewed as one big farce, and Democrats are learning that a little bit too late. People like Gavin Newsom and others attempting to sound the alarm bell, warning the National Party not to pursue this kind of undemocratic campaign. But it's too little, too late. They've already done it. They've crossed the Rubicon. Well, honestly, they're past the Rubicon at this point. They're pretty much about to enter Rome, but it's yet again another, I think, overly bold strategy. It's gonna backfire. They know it. We know it. Donald Trump's already been cast as the martyr. What do you think this is gonna do? They told us he was guilty of insurrection and therefore should be removed off the ballot, but it turned out that their crackpot legal theory got rejected at the Supreme Court, and it was all one big voter election interference Democrat scam. The moment that happens, I'm telling you, another 100,000 Trump supporters overnight will instantly be created. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.